Hey everybody, it's JJ Talks, and it's Thursday on the Breakfast Club, and I'm sitting on my floor instead of my bed, so it's a little bit more professional. And today I wanted to ask you guys if Donald Trump is my fault, because I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and I'm gonna be honest and say that Donald Trump is not my fault in my opinion, but other people have expressed to me otherwise, and I would like to kind of just talk about this idea for a second. And when I'm saying, when people have said this to me, okay, I did not vote for Hillary Clinton in the presidential election. I also did not vote for Donald Trump. And that's all I'm saying about my voting. So, I've had many leftists, liberal people, and I consider myself extremely, extremely liberal, tell me that Donald Trump's my fault because I voted for him by not voting for Hillary. And there's a lot of layers to think about this on. So, the first thing I think about is like, okay, no, I literally did not vote for him. So I did not give him my vote because I did not vote for him, right? On the most fundamental level of whether or not I caused Donald Trump, the answer is no, because I didn't vote for him. But if we look a little bit deeper, and we're like, okay, well, if everyone who didn't vote for either of them had voted for Hillary, that are liberal, would he still have won? Probably not. I don't know, maybe. I'm bad at math. I'm an English major. So then there's that level. And on that level, yes, Donald Trump is my fault because I did not vote for his opposition. I did not support his mainstream opposition. And on that level, it is my fault. But then I think about it even further, and I'm like, it's not my fault. I did not vote for Hillary Clinton, and I feel like a lot of, and I was a huge Bernie supporter, and a lot of people are like, oh, you are just butthurt that Bernie, didn't get the nomination, which, yes, of course I was upset about, and so therefore it's like, what's the word? A resistance vote. I'm trying to think of the word for it. To not vote for her is just an act of belligerence, basically. But I actually genuinely don't agree with many of Hillary Clinton's policies and the way in which she conducts her life. And that is not specific to Hillary Clinton. I feel the same way about Barack Obama and many of Obama's policies that are, basically, establishment Democrats, I don't support, largely. Sometimes I do, and obviously if you're, the lesser of two evils, but, Hillary Clinton has, lobbyists who give her money who are, private prison lobbyists. Private prison's, the most unliberal thing I could think of ever, and the fact that she has taken money from people who support that. Why? Are you kidding me? Private prison's basically modern day slavery. Why the fuck would I vote for someone who supports that? So, believe it or not, I actually genuinely think that she would cause a lot of harm in certain ways. But the big question was, is this the time to rebel? Is this the time to resist the establishment? Because a lot of people are I totally understand that the DNC and shit, it's all fucked up and it's it's corrupt, but now is not the time because Trump is running. And to that I say, when is the time? Because I sure as hell don't like Mitt Romney any more than I like Donald Trump, believe it or not. He can fucking make all the nice tweets he wants about how Trump's an idiot, and Trump is an idiot, but his policies and his actual beliefs, no. Like, I wouldn't have wanted him to be president any more than I want Trump to be president, or George Bush, you know. And it's basically like, there's never going to be the right time to start fighting against the system, the bipartisan system that we have going. There's never going to be a right time, a good time. So why, you know, so basically I have to always vote for the lesser of two evils for the rest of my life, and I have to accept it, and I have to deal with it. Or I could try in my own way, in my right as an American citizen, to resist that. And in my opinion, this past election was revolutionary in many ways. You know, we've never had someone like Trump be fucking president. And don't get me wrong, I don't like Donald Trump at all. But it was an unprecedented thing to happen. And the fact that Bernie did get so far was an unprecedented thing to happen. And I would like us to continue on that path of, you know, and it's not necessarily, of course I want my candidate to win, but like this, we were so ingrained in the Republican versus Democrat, the very, like, Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, like, kind of, like, epitomized the Republican versus Democrat, establishment, like, thing. I don't know, like, we have gotten away from that, and that is something that's, like, impossible to do many times because people are constantly voting out of fear. And so the fact that that's kind of happened is pretty interesting to me. And I would like to see it to continue to happen. And I would like us to have more than two political parties. And you could say there's more than two political parties, but that's fucking bullshit. And we all know it. Because if you are not running as a Republican or Democrat, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to get laughed at. So, like, even though, you know, I don't know if I would consider Bernie Sanders a Democrat in the definition of Democrat that we have now, but he had to run as a Democrat because he wouldn't have gotten as far as he did. Okay. So, is it my right? It is my right, objectively. Sorry, that's not a good question. Is it okay to use that right in a way that I feel most morally good about in voting for someone who's not Hillary or Trump? Is that okay? And people say you're throwing away your vote. Yeah, fucking sure. But guess what? If fucking half the country throws away our votes, then we overthrow that system. And I feel like the whole throwing away your vote thing is just a fucking... It's a way to keep the status quo. And I don't want people, like, trying to force me into keeping the status quo when I cannot feel morally sound if I voted for either of those candidates. So is Donald Trump my fault? Is what I'm asking. If you are someone who supports Hillary Clinton or who thinks that, like, I don't know, maybe not just Clinton supporters, but just anyone in general, like, how do I handle that? Because I get that all the time. I had someone at work the other day say to me, like, oh, so this is all your fault, like Donald Trump. And I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Donald Trump is my fault? I'm like, what? Maybe Donald Trump's the president that America deserves right now. Not needs or wants, but deserves. I don't know. It's a really complicated topic because you get into this whole, like, you know, and there are people who are like, well, you have the privilege of not voting for Hillary because, you know, Trump's actions are not going to affect you nearly as drastically as they'll affect other groups of people, which is absolutely true. But then on the other hand, I have people in the same disadvantages who are like, you're privileged if you vote for Hillary because we need to overthrow the system that's in place. And so I've got all these people telling me all these different things, and like all I know how to do is what I feel is right. And that's all I can do. And I don't know how to handle that in this current political climate and context. Because I understand that, you know, I don't think I'm naive in that politics is inherently manipulative and is about money, and that's just how it's always been, and everything's about money, and everything's about manipulation, and like who you know, and that's just the truth of it. And I know that, and I recognize it, but do I have to perpetuate it? Am I a bad person if I say I'm not doing that, you know? And I know this has gone longer than 10 minutes, but I'm just stressed out. I mean, okay, I'm not stressed out. I don't know. It seems like a really superficial to sum this all up by saying I'm just following my heart, but TLDR, I am. Is that wrong?